Discipline solves 90% of your problems. Christopher learned this the hard way. A few years ago, he felt like everything in his life was stacked against him. His health was declining because he kept skipping workouts. His finances were a mess because he couldn't control his spending. Even his relationships suffered because he lacked consistency. At first, he thought he just needed more motivation. He watched videos, read books, and even tried quick fixes, but none of them stuck. His real issue wasn't knowledge, it was discipline. Once he faced that truth, everything began to change. He committed to a structured workout schedule, tracked every dollar he spent, and set routines that kept him on track daily. It wasn't easy, but discipline made it simple. In a few months, he was in the best shape of his life, his bank account stabilized, and his confidence grew. Christopher discovered that discipline didn't just solve one problem, it solved almost all of them at once. And that's exactly what we're going to break down today. Let's get right into it. This video is called Discipline Solves 90% of Your Problems, and I promise you, once you master discipline, you'll stop feeling overwhelmed and finally start seeing real results. But here's the thing, you can't just watch a video and expect your life to change. You need accountability and a proven strategy. That's why I created my private coaching program, where I work directly with men who are ready to finally stop wasting time and start building the life that they want. If that sounds like you, click the first link in the description or the pinned comment below and secure your spot now. Let's dive into the 5 powerful ways discipline solves nearly every single problem in your life. Point 1. Discipline eliminates excuses. Most men fail not because they don't know what to do, but because they create excuses for why they can't do it. I'm too tired, I don't have time, I'll start tomorrow. These excuses are what keep you stuck. And the more you feed into them, the weaker you become. Discipline cuts through excuses like a knife. When you're disciplined, you don't give yourself the option to negotiate. You don't ask, do I feel like working out? You just go. You don't ask, do I have time to read? You make time. That's the power of discipline. It silences the voice that always looks for an easy way out. Think about it. Every excuse you've ever made has gotten you nothing but regret. But every time you've pushed through, even when you didn't feel like it, you gained progress, confidence, and momentum. That's the difference between a man who stays stuck and a man who builds. Excuses will always present themselves. Discipline is what dictates whether you bow to them or rise above them. And the more you practice discipline, the quieter those excuses become. Eventually, you don't even think about them anymore. You just execute. When excuses die, consistency thrives. And once you've built that, you've already solved one of the biggest problems that most men face today. Point 2. Discipline gives you control over your body and health. If your body is weak, everything else in your life will feel harder. You can't focus as well. You lack confidence. Even your drive to success takes a hit. Most men know that they need to take care of their body. They fall into the trap of inconsistency, working out for a week, then quitting, eating clean for a few days and falling off back into junk food. Discipline is the difference. Discipline turns working out from something that you try into something that you do. It makes you train when you're tired, cook real food when you'd rather order pizza, and get proper sleep instead of scrolling late at night. And here's the payoff. Your body rewards you for it. You get stronger, you get sharper, and you get more confident. The best part? Once you discipline yourself physically, it spills over into every other area of your life. You walk taller, you think clearer, you feel more capable of tackling challenges. A disciplined man with a strong body is a dangerous man in the best ways possible, mainly because he doesn't crack under pressure. Christopher saw this firsthand. Once he committed to training and nutrition, his health improved quickly. That boost gave him the momentum to improve other areas of his life. It started with his body, but the ripple effects touched every single part of his life. Your body is your foundation. Discipline is how you take control of it. And when your health is locked in, most of your life's problems will shrink dramatically. Point 3. Discipline restores order to your finances. Money problems crush men. debt, overspending, poor habits. They pile up and weigh you down. Most financial struggles don't come from lack of income, they come from lack of discipline. You don't need to be a millionaire to manage money well. You need the discipline to track it, budget it, and control it. That's where most men fall short. They treat money emotionally instead of logically. They spend when they're stressed, celebrate too early, or try to impress others. And then they wonder why they're broke. Discipline fixes this. It forces you to live below your means, save consistently, and invest wisely. It teaches you to delay gratification, saying no to impulse purchases so you can say yes to financial freedom later. This is exactly what Christopher did. He was drowning in debt because he spent recklessly. Once he used discipline, he built a budget and stuck to it. Slowly, his debt shrank. Then he built savings. Eventually, he had breathing room. That financial order gave him peace of mind and freedom to focus on bigger goals. And let me be blunt with you. If you know money is a weak point for you, then you need real accountability. That's why I created my private coaching program. Inside, I'll show men how to build discipline across every area, including finances, so you can stop feeling stuck and finally start winning. The link to join is in the description and in the pinned comment below. Don't wait until you hit rock bottom. When you get disciplined with money, you take control of one of life's biggest stressors, and that solves a huge portion of the problems that most men deal with today. Point 4. Discipline builds unshakable mental strength. Your mind is either your greatest weapon or your biggest weakness. Most men let their mind run wild. Negative thoughts, laziness, self-doubt, all of it dominates their decisions. Without discipline, your mind becomes your enemy. But discipline trains your mind just like you train your body. It creates structure in your thinking. Instead of giving in to the impulses of fear, you act based on principles. You don't quit because something feels uncomfortable. You push through because you've conditioned yourself to stay consistent no matter what. This mental strength is rare and it solves countless problems. When you're disciplined mentally, you don't break under stress. You don't collapse when life throws challenges your way. You can focus longer, work harder, and endure more than the average man. That makes you valuable in every area: career, relationships, leadership. The reality is, most of the problems that men face aren't external, they're internal. It's not the challenge itself that defeats them, but their lack of mental toughness. Discipline fixes that. It teaches you how to stay steady when everything else feels chaotic. Think about it. The man with a strong mind doesn't get derailed by small setbacks. He doesn't crumble under pressure. He stays locked in until he reaches his target. That's what discipline builds. Discipline refines your identity. The most powerful part about discipline is that it doesn't just fix problems, it changes who you are. In the beginning, discipline feels like effort. You're forcing yourself to wake up early, forcing yourself to train, forcing yourself to stay consistent. But over time, something bigger happens. Discipline becomes part of your identity. Once that happens, you don't think of yourself as a guy who struggles anymore. You think of yourself as the man who follows through. And that identity change is permanent. When you see yourself differently, you act differently. This is why discipline solves so many problems at once. It changes the root of who you are. If you still see yourself as inconsistent or lazy, you'll always act in line with that identity. But once you see yourself as disciplined, consistent, and reliable, your actions follow naturally. That's when life transforms. Christopher experienced this too. At first, discipline was difficult for him, but after months of sticking with it, he no longer had to force it. He became the man who kept his word. He became the man who followed through. That identity shift is why his results lasted, and it's why your results will last too once you embrace discipline fully. At the end of the day, identity is the foundation. Change your identity and you solve problems at the root instead of just the surface. Discipline is what creates that transformation. So there you have it, 5 ways discipline solves 90% of your problems. It eliminates excuses, gives you control over your health, restores order to your finances, builds mental toughness, and refines your identity. But remember, knowledge alone won't change your life. Execution will. And execution is easier when you have guidance and accountability. That's why my private coaching program exists. If you're ready to stop struggling and start living as a man that you were meant to be, click the first link in the description or the pinned comment below and join today. Discipline isn't optional. It's the foundation of everything you want. And the sooner you master it, the sooner your problems start disappearing.